Alright guys, how's it going? Eastbayanglers here. Today we're talking all about fishing, topwater, spooks, minnow, topwater, walk the dog style baits. It's really one of the best ways you can catch a fish. Topwater, we all know it, especially walk the dog, because it does require you to work the lure quite a bit. So in essence, you're really keyed in, you're focused, and when that fish does explode, you're keyed in. So one of the things I want to talk about is some modifications you guys can make to the actual spook or imitation. So there's like 1,000 different companies with different spooks. There's another 1,000 different people that are making spooks and molds of their own, and blanks being mass produced in China. So there's a lot out there, but let's be real. Okay, so in general, let's talk about the head-on style. The head-on spook, works freshwater, saltwater, doesn't matter. So the first thing that I want to talk about is, let's say you got a 5-inch head-on or something, and so here you are, you got this head-on spook. It's got 3 treble hooks, and what you're gonna want to do is sometimes you're gonna want to take out the center treble hook. You're not gonna need that center treble hook. That's not gonna essentially help you. Okay, now still going to be balanced, everything's going to run just fine. Now sometimes you might want to change out all the hooks together and go with a different lighter wire or a heavier wire, depending on the particular species that you're targeting. Okay, that's a modification. Sometimes you want to make put a red hook in there, kind of has a bleeding bait fish look to it. So sometimes that can help. Another thing that I'm fond of is changing out split rings, especially if they're not quality enough, and I'm big on always making sure that there's a snap to the nose of my topwater spook or my stick bait, my minnow, my whatever it is. I've got a split ring, and big fan of hyperwire. As far as, when I'm out there and I'm trying to entice these fish, get more bites, I'm going to go ahead and throw a massive marabou tail. So I'm going to take off the back tail and get a massive marabou, maybe like 8 layer, and like, I would say 8 layers, get some emulator flash, French tinsel. You go crazy, you get all kinds of different blends. And other times, go with that big bucktail. Other times, go with some rabbit strips, or potentially, just some flash by itself. Sometimes is all you need, which ends up getting pretty messed up pretty quick. But in general, adding to the back of that hook. Now, other than that, let's talk about some other modifications. One of the other modifications you can do is you can basically paint the eye, or add some sort of, paint the eye red, paint the eye from one color that's just totally, I know eye color doesn't seem like it makes much of a difference, but it can, and it really can. So another thing you want to do is, maybe get out your Sharpie and, make it bleed, or just give it a gills or something. If it depends on particular spook you're using, but add a little detail, doesn't hurt. Now, As far as, well, what was I going to say? Okay, so another way that I like to modify the spook is to have a hook in the front, the middle, and then in the rear, I like to have a Colorado blade or a, can't remember the name of it, but it's like it's just like a Colorado blade, but it actually has a rattle in there. So that right there is phenomenal. Another modification, is to have another bait, a much smaller bait, like a fly or a streamer, something really small, and have that 6-8 inches away from the spook, and just tie that in, so that way every time that spook moves, it appears it's chasing something. I mean, the fish isn't going to know what hit him, but from afar, it's like, I don't know exactly what that is. It's avoiding, so you get where I'm going. Modifications as far as, your rod, I would say, is somewhat could be very important. Really allows you to work the bait properly. The shorter the rod, the better you can really work the bait. So that's something that, some people say, oh, 7 foot, 7.5 foot. It's like, let me tell you, a shorter rod is gonna make it easier. Tell me whatever you want to tell me, but that's my experience. I know that for a lot of people, they just take it out of the box and they fish it. That's fine as well. We're just talking modifications because there are a lot of things you can do to increase your hookup ratio. And sometimes those extra little things really, really pay off dividends in the end. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. It's been a great time telling you guys all the modifications. I wish I could express to you guys, when you get your topwater, always make sure that they're not waterlogged. Always make sure that your topwater baits, your minnows, your whatever, your spooks are not getting waterlogged. So that's very, common to have a lot of people not get bit because of that. So stay tuned, guys. Have a good one. Thanks for watching.